light. Minutes since I've made like literally any Destiny content for this channel. We usually do a prep for the new season video, but we didn't do that this season because we've been playing Apex instead of Destiny because Destiny did kind of die down a little bit, but that's okay because the new season is here and Solar 3.0 is here, and boy, am I loving Solar 3.0 so far. So basically, I don't think we've ever done something like this on the channel, but I am so in love with this build that I felt like it was probably necessary to get it out there so everyone else can experience this. But this build basically makes it impossible for you to die unless it's like you'd have to make a like pretty serious mistake, basically to die. So you'd have to like fall off the map or get killed by a white mechanic, like literally the things that can instant kill you and you can't escape it, basically. Um, um, but yeah, so if you didn't know, they buffed resilience stat. They made it an actual stat. So if you have tier 10 resilience now, you get a 40% damage reduction, which is essentially pre-nerf protective light before they, or yeah, pre-nerf protective light, but all the time. You don't have to do anything special to get it. You're just always that tanky. Um, and then running a Titan makes this even more so effective because the first thing I thought of was like, okay, well, I'm getting a lot of resilience, but I'm taking a hit in my recovery department. But with some of these new fragments for Solar 3.0, like this one right here, Ember of Tempering, Solar Weapon Final Blows grant you and your allies increased recovery for a short duration. So boom, that's more recovery right there. And then I believe, let's see. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the only one that gives you recovery, but you also, if you run Soul Invictus on Titans, you also get sunspots as well as the splitting hammers because you can run both of those together now. Um, and a lot of this goes, and when you stand in these, it gives you increased like ability haste, um, or increased health regen, and then it also works really well with the new perk on some of the new Callus weapons, or I guess they're not new, but the new old Callus weapons. Incandescence, I thought it was incantation, but it's incandescent. Defeating a target spreads scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause scorch in a larger radius. So basically, this perk is essentially like a solar volatile rounds, but it's also like chain reaction mixed with dragonfly, and it works really well with this build in particular for Titans because if you explode someone, a group of ads, it creates sunspots, which is pretty fucking crazy. I just so happened to get this. This was literally my first drop I got of the Callus Mini Tool. I got Unrelenting on it too. So even if you can't create a sunspot, if you're shooting enough trash ads, you're getting that health regen anyways. And then the other thing, I don't know what I have on it, or if they just made it. I maybe it's because I'm constantly in sunspots when you super, but when you super, when you're using Hammer of Soul, it is literally impossible to die. There's a clip at the beginning of this. I was running Pit of Heresy, trying to go for solo flawless, and I was being attacked from two sides where there was ogres and ads on both sides while I was in my super, and I don't think I saw my health bar move like a pixel the entire time. I was blown away. Um, and when you pop your super, you can literally be one shot, and I think it's a fragment that I have here or an aspect, I can't remember, but you can literally be one shot, and then it instantly like regens your health to full pretty much. So it's really strong. So basically what happened was I have been attempting to get solo flawless Shatter Throne and Pit of Heresy in particular for about a year now. and I stopped attempting it a few months ago because I couldn't do it. I thought even with Void 3.0 and how strong it was, I would be able to like live with just all the overshield and like suppressiveness and clearing that it had. I'd be able to live, but like the Chamber of Suffering and Pit of Heresy was the thorn in my side, and I couldn't do it. So I gave up on it for a little bit, and then I came back and realized how strong this build was, and I was like, no shot, I can actually do this now. And it was the easiest dungeon clear I've ever had in my life. And it was while I was solo, and I went flawless. And that was my first attempt after not attempting it for, like I said, several months. And then I was like, okay, maybe it's just Pit of Heresy being easy. So then I tried Shattered Throne, because Shattered Throne is kind of harder. There's a lot more like bullshit that can just knock you off the edge and kill you instantly. And I did that one solo flawless on the first try too. So, I mean, this build is very strong. I was really close to getting solo flawless and Grasp of Avarice on my first try too, but I got cucked by a glitch. I think I was on the literal final boss, and I was trying to kill the Marauder and Shank, the beefy ones that come out of that hole, and I think I glitched the boss because he like froze basically, and those guys never spawned. And then whenever I would try to like shoot the things to get the engrams or whatever to deposit it, they wouldn't. They got stuck and they just exploded at the top. So then I ended up dying because I had greed and wasn't quick thinking enough to just go deposit them really quick. But I'm pretty sure it was chalked either way. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and run through this lost sector really quick, just so you can see like the pure destruction. I know it's not like a legend lost sector or anything crazy like that. It's just a normal thing. But as you can see, this build is pretty disgusting just for ad clearing and survivability. Unfortunately, it's not great, at least on Titans, for boss DPS. So if you're going to try to do it for like, I mean, I'm sure it'd probably be still fine for like a raid, but dungeons in particular, it works really well because I don't think there's any enrage mechanics. Like it took me like 6 phases to kill the ogre boss in Grasp of Avarice last night. So it's, yeah. If you're a patient person, this is a great build for you. If you're a patient person and you don't like dying in these dungeons, then it's perfect for you. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just not really taking any damage. I also have on. They made the seasonal mod this time. I think they're going to start doing this every season, which I love. But it's the solar resistance and void resistance. I have that stacked, so that makes it makes like Puny Hive basically. It makes me like invulnerable to them because they all have like void and or solar abilities. I think the wizards are the only ones that really have anything arc, but I still don't really see a problem with that. Oh, and the knights, I guess. I don't really see a problem just because of the resilience. Getting a huge buff. It's like I said, it's finally not a useless stat. Before I would always just run recovery on literally everything, and because I didn't like how long it would take sometimes to just regen my health, but now I don't like really have to worry about it. And you can even run like the Well of Regeneration, I think it's called, the Solar Well of Regeneration on your solar armor too. So like you're going to be getting so many kills that you'll drop a solar well as long as you're using like a solar SMG. That's what I would recommend for this. The Callous Mini Tool is phenomenal, and it has an incandescent on it too, which just makes everything literally explode when you kill it. But yeah, you'll be getting solar wells, and that'll give you. I'll have to go and look at my armor too. I got ahead of myself, but yeah. So you'll have all the regeneration that you could ever possibly need, even if your recovery is super low, and then you just take next to no damage. And I'm pretty positive when you activate super, you literally take no damage. So I don't know if that was intended or if that's a bug or what, but it is fantastic. Missing out on like the weakening of Void, unfortunately. Like I said, you don't really do as much damage to bosses. It just takes a little bit longer. I have the Eyes of Tomorrow on. I haven't really been playing around with it until like today because I forgot that they were buffing it. And apparently it's very strong now. But like I said, I haven't like really done any dungeons yet today or anything like that to do a damage test on that. But I've heard very good things about it. I still just use the sleeper sim a lot because that gun is still one of the strongest boss damage guns in the game, in my opinion. Has been for a long time since Destiny 1. It was ahead. It was a little bit weak in Destiny 2 when it first came out, but still, it was still good. So as you can see, I'm just going to stand here, and he's not even going to crack my shield. And then if I do this, look at my health regen instantly, and then I'm just not taking any damage from anything. Like nothing can hurt me at all, barely. Yeah, this is a very, very strong build. I knew this was going to happen with Solar because that's something they said forever ago, is that Solar was about regen. And whenever they announced that they were going to do the same thing as the other subclasses they did with Stasis, I was like, man, Solar is actually going to make you invincible, I feel like, and it absolutely is doing that. And I'm really enjoying Solar 3.0 much more than I enjoyed Void 3.0. Void 3.0 was like just too strong almost, in my opinion, like for doing damage and stuff like that. But for a Titan main, I don't feel like we had as much survivability as like Warlocks per se, but I don't think anyone ever has as much survivability as Warlocks. They're so tanky and they have so much regen because of the well and everything like that. You could even take it a step further, because I don't really throw my grenades all too often. You could take it a step further and use the healing grenade too, because every class can use the healing grenade. So you could use that too to get what's called restoration if you feel like you still don't have enough recovery. And honestly, my gear isn't perfect either, so it's like I could have a higher recovery stat. But yeah, so we'll just go over what I have on right now. This is just basic stuff. You probably wouldn't want to use this for like GM content. But I have obviously Resilience, Rocket Launcher Finder, Harmonic Siphon to get those orbs, and then Elemental Light. So whenever I cast a super, I spawn a bunch of wells. And then Font of Might, so I can do more damage with the Callous Mini Tool and the Eyes of Tomorrow, whatever Solar Heavy I'm running. And then this is the one where I have Explosive Wellmaker. Oh, no, different one. Rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns a Solar Elemental Well, which if you're using the Callous Mini Tool with Incandescent, you're going to be making a lot of explosions and a lot of wells in turn. And then I believe, I guess I don't have it on, which is actually even crazier. But I was going to say what I was trying to talk about earlier. If you felt like you needed more recovery for whatever reason, picking up a Solar Elemental Well grants increased regeneration for a short period of time. So if you want that health regen to be even more instant, you could always run Well of Life with the Solar Armor. And it's free to change that over to 10 points now. Well, basically free. It just costs some legendary shards and thinner. And then I got Elemental Ordnance. I meant to change that back over to... Well, I had Linear Fusion Scavenger on because I was running a Sleeper until I switched. And then Better Already is outstanding perk also, especially because you're going to be making so many orbs anyways. And then you're pretty much going to have grenades all the time too, because you're standing in sunspots, which regens your stuff faster. And then I never know what to do with a mark, so I just put on whatever this is, reduce melee cooldown, because I can make more sunspots. And then Melee Wellmaker is really good too, because the short recharge like really just one shots every ad in like a 10-meter radius whenever you pop it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of. I just have the Secession on because I'm using a Callous Mini Tool. I usually run the Heritage, but since I was attempting Shattered Throne, and I think Pit, no, not Pit. Pit really just has that one area with the Knights up top where you need a long range weapon. But yeah, so I have Secession on because this is still, I don't know how many seasons it's been. Like, it's been over a year though. A year later, this is still my favorite sniper in the game. My favorite PvE sniper. So this gun is really good to use if you want to, but I feel like you can really throw anything in the special slot. I'm sure there's probably new perks you can do on these other new guns that are probably pretty strong too, that would work well. And then obviously if you're trying to go for flawless, I would strongly recommend against using a Gallahorn or As of Tomorrow, just because As like to walk right in front of you as soon as you shoot a rocket launcher, and obviously you're going to lose flawless really fast if you do that. Sleeper is a little bit dangerous too in regards to that, but I don't think it's as dangerous. It's a lot easier to get out of the way of Ricochet, I feel like. And then like as far as like legendaries go, I love this linear fusion a lot. Cataclysmic, it's the raid fusion, linear fusion. And as far as I know, it's the only good solar legendary linear fusion in the game. There's only like one other one that you could get from the Season of the Hunt activities, and it was very mid and very meh. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for the build. Kind of rambled on for a really long time, so thank you for sticking around if you stuck around this whole time, and we'll see you in the next one.